So there's probably not one vehicle on this planet that is being talked about more than the Tesla Cybertruck. But is it because of the memes, the hype, or the possible death trap that it might be? Now, I'm not the biggest car guy, and I am one of these people that is tired of hearing about this damn truck. But I will say, I did see one in the wild the other day, and I was like, oh. But if I'm being honest, I was just pretty shocked that it was actually white because I'm used to seeing them as silver. But the reason why I'm talking about the Cybertruck in this video today is because have you seen all the craziness that's surrounding this truck? Like, it makes me question why anyone in their right mind would go out and buy one of these things. For example, did you know that if you take your Cybertruck through a car wash, it could void your warranty? Or it could just flat out kill your whole Cybertruck altogether. And I'm not just making this up, this is apparently from the Cybertruck manual. Failure to put Cybertruck in car wash mode may result in damage. For example, to the charge port or windshield wipers. Damage caused by car washes is not covered by the warranty. A freaking car wash can kill your $80,000 vehicle. I think that's pretty absurd. And it's not just some random thing. Apparently this guy on TikTok did just that, and his freaking Cybertruck doesn't work anymore.
The Cybertruck does not work anymore. I'm about 2.5 months in and 3,400 miles, and it's not working right now. So what did I do different? Today I went to the beach and went home, took it through the car wash, make sure all the sand's off. That's the only thing I've done that's different. Then I pulled it in the garage and nothing. We are a couple minutes in. Should have had a little T up here by now and a new display. Nothing.
We're talking about one of the most basic things that people do with their vehicles. It's like the norm to get your freaking vehicle cleaned is to go to a car wash. You pay like, I mean, they're pretty expensive nowadays, but they used to be like $5-10. You get your freaking car washed and bada bing bada boom, your thing looks brand new. Well, maybe not brand new, but it does look a lot cleaner than it did before. But honestly, every other car manufacturer out there isn't saying that a car wash voids your warranty, at least not to my knowledge. To be honest, when I actually go to my dealership to get work done, they wash my car for me. But I've never freaking heard of a vehicle that could be destroyed by a car wash, at least not a basic just drive-through one. I understand if somebody power washed the inside of their car, that would make sense. If you're power washing the engine, that would make sense. But just going through a car wash with the freaking Cybertruck can kill your whole vehicle? Also, it might not even just be a car wash because according to that same paper, it says caution for exterior cleaning. Do not wash in direct sunlight. What does that even mean? Like, I gotta wash my shit in shade now? Like, what the hell? On top of buying a Cybertruck, if you're somebody that likes to wash your car, you're either gonna be washing this thing in your garage or you're gonna have to buy a freaking cover for your driveway. Instead of buying a Cybertruck, what people should do is hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on this channel and it would really help out. It also recommends not to use windshield treatment fluids because it could cause wiper friction and cause a chattering sound. I don't know if that's just a fancy word for freaking windshield wiper fluid. Treatment fluid has to just be the freaking soapy water that you spray out of your shit to clean your windshield, right? Like, that's what that has to be, right? You're telling me that is recommended not to be used on a Cybertruck? But maybe there's a big reason why Tesla doesn't want you to basically wash your vehicle because it'll void your warranty. It's also because a lot of people are complaining or worrying about the idea of the Tesla truck, Cybertruck, let me get the branding correct. They're worried about it rusting. Like, there are so many videos about people talking about how you have to clean your Cybertruck immediately if you want to avoid rust and yada yada yada, because it's basically like, I believe it's stainless steel outside and all that jazz, so it's going to rust. I mean, people even talk about how like there's fingerprints all over it. That really would annoy me from a car standpoint, but yeah, I don't know. So on top of that, on top of not washing your truck, it's also probably best not to, because you might just be rusting your freaking vehicle. Now, I don't know how much of that is true when it comes to the whole rusting thing. I've just seen so many people talk about it. Some people are saying that you gotta wipe off like bird poop immediately because of like crap in the poop is gonna rust. I don't really know. I'm not a scientist here, but I just think it's pretty ridiculous if that is something you would have to do. I mean, the car wash thing is apparently in their freaking paperwork. I don't own a Tesla Cybertruck, so I don't have the manual in front of me that I can verify it, but I've seen it enough places that it seems pretty plausible. Also, I used to work at a place where we were surrounded by steel a lot, and I have seen how steel does wear over time when it's weathered and whatnot. So I could believe all of these claims that the Cybertruck might have a big problem when it comes to rusting in the future. We might just see a bunch of like Cybertrucks in junkyards where they're just all rusted, and then there's gonna be that one guy that, you know, freaking redoes a Cybertruck and everybody's like, oh damn, those things used to look so awesome. And then we just forget how shitty they were for a long time. Because if I'm not mistaken, one of the biggest issues with old classic cars was they would rust pretty bad. Again, I'm not a car guy, but I've seen my dad watch enough of these classic car shows that they're just always bringing in rust buckets. But you know what? You might be one of these people that doesn't care about a rusting truck and you never wash your car, so you're not going to worry about it. So you don't care if it gets a little dirty or whatnot because you're a rugged man and you use your truck to work on stuff. And I applaud you for that. You're actually using your vehicle for what it's intended for. Too many people are buying these trucks and not using them for shit. That's all trucks. That's not just Cybertrucks. But if you are a Cybertruck owner, the one thing you are going to have to worry about is making sure your freaking little piggies don't get cut off when you close the hood. This topic is one of the most talked about things on the internet when it comes to the Cybertruck because it seems like there is no sensor that will stop the hood from closing when it's about to slam on your fingers. Other vehicles out there actually do have some sensors that will stop things. Now, I've seen that in a lot of trunks. I don't know if that's for the hood of cars. I know my freaking hood would not stop. There's no sensor. If I drop my hood, it's smashing my fingers. But I don't think my hood would chop my fingers off, but that is something that people have tested online when it comes to the Cybertruck hood. I mean, there's this creator right here, Tyler Blanchard, who actually gets one of those like freaking fake hand things and tests it out and just straight up severs 4 fingers on that thing. What's crazy about that video is that hood is still coming down pretty slow and it still cuts those things straight off. Let's be real though, Tesla bros aren't gonna be dumb enough to get their fingers freaking chopped off. They don't care about rust, and they're not gonna wash their damn cars. So there's really nothing for them to worry about, right? Well, before you drive this thing, you might wanna make sure that your freaking accelerator pedal is actually installed properly if you don't wanna die. Before I play the video, I'm gonna be honest with you, this was the first time that I saw something with the Cybertruck that made me really question how badly these things were designed. Because this was pretty scary.
As I'm driving, this slid up and wedged itself just like that. Right now it's not clipped on, so it's kind of hard to see, but this wedged itself right there. And as you can see, based on the design of the floorboard, this sliding up, and the way this was still hooked onto the pedal, it held the accelerator down 100%, full throttle. Now, I was luckily had a clear mind, didn't panic, and holding the brake down overrides the pedal. So I was able to stop the car, but anytime I lift the brake, it would start accelerating again. I stopped the car, put it in park, got out. At first I thought the pedal was broken, but then I realized that nope, this was wedged down here under this little section here, not allowing this pedal to come back up. So yeah, looks like there's a refill or some kind of stop cell for that. Somebody that panics, that could be pretty dangerous. Crazy.
Yeah, I would think so. Somebody who is driving a Tesla truck that does not know how to handle things under pressure could turn this thing into a death machine. I cannot tell you how many people I've been around that do not know to handle their shit while driving. And then you're gonna have some kind of defect like that that will allow the accelerator to stay fully accelerated? Holy crap! And here's one thing you need to think about too when it comes to these Tesla vehicles is they're known for their like super mega fast acceleration. They're going from 0 to 60 like whasham. They're just, those things are there. Like that's one of the best things people love about these things. But there's also countless amount of videos online of people not knowing really how to control these things, and they go my brain couldn't keep up with how fast they go. But yeah, people go crazy with these things sometimes and cause a lot of accidents. Or I should say could cause a lot of accidents because, well, I could just be seeing a select amount of videos online, but there's a decent amount of videos online. But it just makes me think of just how stupid of a design is that to have a pedal that could literally be wedged under like the console or something like that. That is just so utterly stupid. I don't think I've ever even driven in a vehicle like that before. Every vehicle I've ever drove, I could swear, has had the pedal that is like hanging down like a hook shape and you just press down on it. And I don't even think that can get wedged. Like, that's just not gonna happen. This is just such a stupid and scary design. Although I feel like you could make a freaking movie out of this, because there could be a situation where somebody's driving and the freaking accelerator pedal gets wedged under it, right? And they have to hold the brake. For whatever reason, let's just say they just cannot fix the freaking accelerator pedal, so they gotta call the freaking police department, they gotta call the cops, they gotta call the freaking fire department. Everybody's gonna be on deck here. And then you just start having this dramatic scene where you're like, if I let go of the brake, we're gonna go from 0 to 100 in 2.4 seconds. And if we wanna make it more dramatic, there's a freaking tanker truck and a school bus full of children that just so happen to have flat tires right next to each other, that if you do accelerate, it'll explode and kill everybody. Maybe that's the hype that freaking Elon was really trying to go for when it came to driving these vehicles, because right now, I'm not seeing a lot of benefits from driving this thing. Now, the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to the Cybertruck was another big thing that people constantly talked about, and it was the idea that there's no crumple zone when it comes to the Cybertruck, and that if you crash this thing, you are going to be mincemeat. You are like dead. You are just, you know, you're going to be freaking shish kebabs. Actually, I think shish kebabs are skewered, so that's probably the wrong analogy. But you're gonna be meat inside of a freaking fancy-looking car cabin, okay? So the internet was going pretty crazy talking about how this thing is a literal death trap, and if that truck actually runs somebody over, the crumple zone might save them in other vehicles, but the Tesla truck is going to slaughter these people like hitting a deer on the highway. And that's pretty much the narrative. But I did come across a video from AI Driver that talked about how, you know, that information might be a little misleading, because if you actually compare it to other crash tests, Tesla's crash test is slightly different than a whole bunch of other trucks. I highly recommend you go check out that video when you have some time, because it does kind of break down how that information is a bit disingenuous. And I will say, I am somebody, whether I like a product or don't like a product, I just like factual information. So I will always provide that when I have the option to do so. So definitely go check out that video. But I will say, one thing I did really agree about was they were saying that if you have a problem with the Cybertruck, you should have a problem with all big heavy-duty trucks on the highway. Because there are so many other trucks made by other manufacturers that are not Tesla that weigh more, that are bigger, that I don't know if they can go faster, but basically can do the same, if not more damage than a freaking Tesla Cybertruck can. And the reason why I agree with that is because I'm from the South, so it's just trucks everywhere. Everybody and their mom has a truck. Like my family, I'm talking about like my extended family, I would say like 80 to 90% of them drive trucks as well. And I love them, but I can tell you that a majority of them aren't doing construction and shit on the weekends that they need a truck. So honestly, it doesn't matter if it's a Cybertruck or another truck. If you're driving at high speeds in a big ass vehicle, you're going to do damage no matter what. Also, if you want another video about the Cybertruck to check out, highly suggest Marquise Brownlee's video on it. He goes in depth talking about the good stuff, the bad stuff. He usually does pretty great reviews on products. Like I've said before in this video, I'm not a car guy, but I am a guy that does like to see all of the craziness surrounding a product and kind of give my thoughts on it, because this particular thing, the Cybertruck, gets talked about all the damn time, and just it blows my mind that people would buy this thing. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Is a Cybertruck a death trap or just a stupid purchase? Let me know in the comment sections down below, and I'll see you guys next time.